Right now at 6, controversy continues at the outdoor athletic field at Edgewood High School as a city board denies plans for sporting events there. Tell you what's next.
The man charged with killing a Milwaukee police officer is found guilty. We'll take you to the courtroom.
Plus, what's next for Blissflow Yoga members after the sudden closure of that studio?
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Many neighbors of Edgewood High School are celebrating a small victory tonight after a ruling by a city board last night.
For now, the high school will not be able to play games on their field. Our Amy Reed joins us now to show us why the fight still isn't over. Amy?
When Edgewood put in this field a few years ago, they said they were going to use it for practices and classes, and that's the language that they submitted to the city as part of their master plan. After violating that a few times this spring and then fighting those violations, they're learning once again that if they want to play games here, they're going to have to go through a process that is sure to be contested in the neighborhood.
But what they want to do is not good for the neighborhood.
Kay Gabriel has lived next door to Edgewood High School for 20 years. To say she's noticed a difference between then and now would be an understatement. That's why she's opposed to Edgewood's plan to convert the field to a stadium and start playing games there.
It would be like somebody living next door to you and having loud parties that you can't do anything about 40 nights a year.
Edgewood first brought this forward to the city last year with an amendment to their master plan, which they've since dropped, that says that they'll only practice or hold classes here. They violated that a few times, and when they appealed those violations last night to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the board voted to uphold the violations, ensuring that if Edgewood wants to play games here, they must somehow change the master plan.
It's a win for the neighborhood, but this is far from over. Edgewood is not going to go quietly into the night.
Some neighbors don't trust the way the high school has handled this so far, but their alder Tag Evers hopes both sides can find middle ground.
Edgewood has long been a pillar in our community. There's no denying that. There's an opportunity now for Edgewood to come back to the table and to engage in the process to amend their master plan and satisfy the concerns of the neighborhood. I think that's important.
Edgewood's president said he's disappointed in the board's decision, but he and others at the school will keep fighting to give students the right to play games on their field. But Kay isn't sticking around to find out. Her and her husband are moving, but she hopes whatever happens next, Edgewood listens to the people like her before they move forward again. Edgewood has a few options moving forward, though they're still deciding what they'll do. They can appeal this board decision. They can go back to that first plan with an amendment to the Plan Commission. They can wait out the master plan for 4 years, or they can drop out of it now. They told me that they are going to try and make a decision in the next week. Back to you.
We'll continue to follow it. Amy Reed reporting live. Thank you, Amy.
All right, with more heat coming, let's check your first alert forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
The temperatures were in the mid-80s again today. The humidity levels still aren't too bad, so showers and thunderstorms that developed up in northern Wisconsin have just fizzled out as they try to push into the central part of the state, but it's possible we could see a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Right now, nothing appears imminent. It would be later on tonight if we saw anything at all. Temperatures right now are still in the lower to middle 80s. Milwaukee at 87, so you can see not even a lake breeze really across much of eastern Wisconsin. Temperatures, a few places are in the upper 80s. Dew point temperatures are in the lower 60s in the Madison area, but notice to the north and west, those dew points climb into the upper 60s. That's a sign humidity is starting to build to our west, and temperatures will drop to the upper 60s by early tomorrow morning. Again, a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Tomorrow, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Otherwise, another very warm and increasingly humid day with a high of 88. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. A Portage woman faces charges in the 2018 overdose death of another woman. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office arrested 29-year-old Vanessa Berger on suspicion of first-degree reckless homicide, delivery of drugs, and 2 counts of felony bail jumping. Deputies say the arrest comes after a lengthy investigation into the September 2018 fatal overdose of a 48-year-old Portage woman. The incident was part of a string of 4 overdose deaths in the county in the span of 1 week in 2018.
A Wisconsin man has been convicted of first-degree intentional homicide in the February shooting death of Milwaukee police officer Matthew Rittner. 27-year-old Jordan Fricke was convicted by a jury that deliberated for a little more than an hour. Fricke testified today that he believed he heard gunshots and fired in self-defense, but Rittner was actually using a battering ram to serve a search warrant on Fricke's home. Prosecutors have said Fricke had to know it was police because they loudly announced their presence. Fricke will be sentenced in August.
President Trump was in Wisconsin today attending a fundraiser in Milwaukee.
And this morning he took several jabs at former Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. Our Amanda Quintana is here with more on why this is all coming out now, Amanda.
Yes, well, on Twitter this morning, Trump called the Janesville native a, quote, long-running lame duck failure, saying while he is given a standing ovation in Wisconsin, Ryan is booed off the stage. This comes after excerpts from the book American Carnage by Tim Alberta came out, where Alberta says Ryan saw retirement as the escape hatch. Ryan, who retired from Congress in January after 20 years, saying Trump, quote, didn't know anything about government. I wanted to scold him all the time.
For Paul Ryan to be complaining is pretty amazing. I remember a day in Wisconsin, a state that I won, where I stood up and made a speech, and then I introduced him, and they booed him off the stage, 10,000 people. So for him to be going out and opening his mouth is pretty incredible. But maybe he gets paid for that, who knows?
Trump took off a couple of hours ago while in Milwaukee today. He attended a fundraiser and toured Durko Airspace, Inc. In his speech, he touted what he's done for the economy, saying wages are rising for blue-collar workers and unemployment is historically low. This was one of two Midwest stops where he will campaign for re-election. Of course, in 2016, Trump was the first Republican to win the state since 1984. And, you know, he talked about Ryan being booed off the stage. The places we've been at, where both of them have been there, that didn't happen.
Right. All right. Amanda Quintana reporting. Amanda, thank you.
Refunds are in store for customers of Wisconsin's four largest for-profit utilities. Ratepayers are due more than $25 million because of low energy prices in 2018. The Public Service Commission sets rates 1 to 2 years in advance based on fixed expenses and an estimate cost of fuel. When the projections are more than 2% of the actual costs, utilities must refund the difference with interest. Madison Gas and Electric customers should see the largest refunds of about $20 for most households. The other utilities are Alliant, WPS, and Excel.
Questions remain to be answered about what's next for Blissflow Yoga members after their sudden closure.
Gabriela Vaquera joins us now with where those members can turn for some answers. Gabby?
The Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection is looking for answers by conducting a complaint review process. DACAP says it is looking into the details submitted through filed complaints.
It allows us to look at the details behind their contracts, the situations they were in, and make determinations if there are violations of state law.
One part of their review process is to determine if the business was required to file a proof of financial responsibility, which is necessary for fitness centers.
So because we'll determine those factors based on the complaints we've received, we're not yet able to just say definitively how the business should be classified. But again, this is all part of a complaint review process that's currently underway.
In Wisconsin, a fitness center is defined as an establishment that assists patrons in physical exercise, in weight control, or in figure development, including but not limited to a fitness center, studio, salon, or club.
Have a good one, you guys.
In the meantime, Harbor Athletic Club will be honoring Blissflow Yoga memberships until August 31st.
And it's anything that would be included in a Harbor membership that isn't an additional fee for members.
All that is needed is a proof of membership to Blissflow Yoga.
We're sorry that the Blissflow members no longer have their studio to practice in, and we welcome them to our studios in hope that they'll enjoy their practice in our facility.
To sign up, go to the wellness studios located across the parking lot from Harbor Athletic Club. DACAP is still conducting reviews of the filed complaints. They say the more complaints they get, the more information it can provide them.
Gabby, thank you.
All right, for the only Saturday this farmers market season, you won't find the typical Dane County farmers market vendors along the square. Instead, you will find art fair on the square. 200,000 people are expected at this year's event. Most art forms are represented among the nearly 500 artists, including ceramics, fiber arts, photography, sculpture, and jewelry, in addition to the traditional paint and print media. Art Fair in the Square runs from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. and then again on Sunday. If you're craving even more art fair off the square is held along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. By the way, the farmers market will move up the street to Bree Stevens Field 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
There's more to come tonight on News 3 Now at 6 when we come back. How a new playground is making sure everyone can play. We'll explain after a short break.
Dear Coffee.
Kids can explore pirate ships to jungle gyms after today's ribbon cutting ceremony and a new inclusive playground. The playground at Elver Park features equipment like respite pods, wheelchair accessible entrances, and a Braille word section. Madison Parks created the new playground in an effort to be more inclusive for people of all ages with all types of disabilities.
The city of Madison is honoring the life, legacy, and heroic anti-Nazi resistance work of Mildred Fish Harnack. The statue Mildred is now at Marshall Park in Madison. She was an American from Milwaukee who attended UW-Madison. Harnack moved to Germany, completed a PhD in literature, moved to Berlin, and formed a resistance group to defeat the Nazis. She was arrested and sentenced to death.
That generations of Madisonians and folks from all over will come and sit where you're sitting and look at this beautiful piece of art out on this beautiful lake and remember how important it is for each and every one of us to stand up for justice and for our fellow human beings.
And John Durbrow is the artist who designed that statue.
The Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center is thanking the city of Fitchburg. Their Facebook page shared a photo of a caption, "Turtle Duck Crossing" sign in the city on a road with a speed limit of 40 miles per hour. The Dane County Humane Society says kudos to the city of Fitchburg and their government for looking out for their wild residents. The sign is located on Seminole Highway near Dunn's Marsh. Ahead on News 3 Now at 6, we'll show you some tips and tricks on how to keep your vehicle cool. That's coming up after this.
And several alert days in the forecast for those hot temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti will have more details. Your first alert forecast coming up. Stay with us. Here at News 3 Now, of course, we always try to keep you informed on what to expect when it comes to the weather.
Our meteorologists say the next 7 or 8 days look to be extremely hot. We have a big, long line of alert days in a row, and our Jamie Perez spent the day researching some tips and tricks to prepare us for the heat wave we're about to experience.
If you've been paying attention to the weather forecast for next week, you know that it's going to be extremely hot. In fact, almost every day next week is going to be an alert day. So we wanted to just take a couple of moments to teach you some hot car weather hacks to prepare you for that. So hack number 1. So you open your car door and it is sweltering hot inside, right? Well, researchers actually say that if you take the time to fan your door about a dozen times before you start the car or turn on the AC, it actually cools the car down by 3.6 degrees every minute for about 10 minutes, which is actually faster than some cars can cool down on their own just by turning on the AC. Hack number 2. If you have a cool water bottle with you that you just grabbed out of the fridge or the freezer, you can wrap it in paper towels, put it behind your neck while you're driving, and it helps you cool off a little while you're headed out on the road. Then, after you've cooled off, you've got some water for the road. All right, next thing is when you get in your car, your steering wheel is too hot to even touch, right? Well, one thing that you can do to prevent this is if you flip your steering wheel upside down so that the bottom part of the wheel is facing the heat. That way, when you get back in your car, you flip the wheel the other way around, and now your hands are on the cooler side of the wheel so you can get to wherever you need to go right away. Now, obviously, those are just a few tips and tricks that I have for you. You should still keep up with the regular things like putting a reflector in your front windshield or cracking the windows a couple of inches just to let all of that hot air out. But hopefully with some of these things in mind, you can stay as cool as possible this summer. In Madison, I'm Jamie Perez, News 3 Now.
And you can find some more tips and tricks to keep your car cool this summer on our website, channel3000.com.
All right, let's go to Gary. He's going to give us all the details on exactly what we can expect, but also what's going on down there in the Gulf, Gary.
Yeah, we're continuing to watch Tropical Storm Barry, very near hurricane strength. But as we take a look at the watches and warnings right now, we have tropical storm warnings in effect for inland areas of Louisiana and near the New Orleans metro area. Hurricane warnings to the west of there. Visible cloud track across the Gulf of Mexico. You can see most of the heavier clouds are to the south of the center of circulation, which is just south of New Orleans. So as we take a look at the latest on Tropical Storm Barry from the National Hurricane Center, maximum sustained winds 65 miles per hour. But notice where the circulation center is and where the thunderstorms are to the south. Eventually, as those start rotating up the east side, then we'll start to see some heavy rain move inland. And the forecast from the National Hurricane Center brings Barry northward as either a minimal hurricane or a very strong tropical storm, weakens it into a tropical depression, but still bringing rain inland into at least the Ohio Valley. But it looks like it'll fizzle out well before it reaches Wisconsin. Rainfall potential, you can see that area of orange and red. That's where maybe 10 to 15 inches of rain may fall, and you may see amounts as much as 4 inches into eastern Arkansas and western portions of Tennessee. But around here, the air is still pretty dry over southern Wisconsin, so thunderstorms that developed in the northern part of the state just fizzled as they headed southward. And you can see right now there's really nothing to our north and west of imminent danger, but there is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. Should we get a storm to pop up, it could bring some gusty winds. The better threat is north of Green Bay, the slight risk area. As we take a look at future track heat index for next week, that's where we're going to be dealing with the heat. Beginning Monday afternoon, triple-digit heat indices. Tuesday afternoon, probably in the 90 to 100 degree range. Wednesday, you see back into the triple digits. Thursday, more of the same, 99 to 100 degrees. And then on Friday, look at this. We could see the possibility for heat index values between 105 and 110 degrees. Next weekend might actually be our hottest weather. So alert days are in the forecast beginning on Sunday and lasting all the way through Sunday of next week. Live view for the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville. Clear skies there, allowing the sun to beat down. But again, the air is dry too, so that's why we're not seeing clouds. The WISC Sky Cam also showing plenty of sunshine. Edgewater Sky Cam at downtown Madison shows a pretty picture of the Capitol lit up in sunshine. And as we check out our almanac for today, our high temperature reached 85 degrees, the low temperature 57. So that dry air cools down at night, but it warms up quickly during the day. And right now we're at 84 degrees with partly sunny skies. The air calm at the airport. The dew point temperature still pretty comfortable at 61 degrees. So forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies, a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight, but it will be more humid, low at 68. For tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 88, so a very warm, also more humid day, a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Future track, you can see just how slight the thunderstorm chances are overnight. tonight, lows in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, highs upper 80s. Again, could see some thunderstorms in the afternoon into the evening hours. I think most of those will die down by early Sunday morning. And then Sunday, a possibility for a thunderstorm to flare up. Highs mid to upper 80s. Rainfall amounts where it occurs could be 1 to 2 inch rainfall amount because of the heavy amounts of moisture. Other areas may miss out on the rain altogether. But what's not in question is the heat starting pretty much from late Sunday and Monday all the way through the next weekend. Maybe some breaks in the heat by the middle of the following week. Still a 92-degree temperature on Monday.
Wrestling, of course, is a popular amateur sport. It's becoming more popular with women. The story's coming up in sports. Steve Stricker lost the lead at the Senior Players Championship, but he's still right there after 2 rounds. Stricker finished his suspended first round today, then couldn't get much going in the second round. So after 2 rounds, Stricker's at 6 under par. That's 3 shots behind the new leader, Retief Goosen. Jerry Kelly is at 1 over through 2 rounds. He is tied for 17th. The Brewers are back from their All-Star break. They'll play the San Francisco Giants at Miller Park tonight just after 7. The Cubs have already beaten the Pirates at Wrigley 4-3. Roger Federer defeats Rafael Nadal in the men's semifinals at Wimbledon in 4 sets. The men's final will have the top 2 seeds, Federer against Novak Djokovic, who stopped Roberto Bautista Agut in 4 sets in the other semifinal. There are nearly 400 collegiate wrestling programs across the country for male wrestlers. But as for women, only about 40 programs. 2 wrestlers in Wisconsin are smashing stereotypes and proving that women are pretty capable on the mat, too. Melissa Kim shares how one local program is helping them continue their journey at the next level.
It's a hot July day in the Badger wrestling room. No AC. Rana Heaton and Jaden Laurent spent a lot of time here.
2 a day, and then on the weekends we have like 1 on Saturday and Sunday off.
and they've been doing this for years.
I was 8 years old at the age of 4.
A sport dominated by mostly boys and men, Rana and Jaden facing obstacles from the very beginning.
Dads and stuff didn't really like it sometimes when you wrestled their kids, so they'd either like have their kid forfeit or they would get really like into it when they wrestled me.
They would ask my mom if I was on steroids or if I was going to be a transgender. No matter what they say, it wasn't going to stop me from doing what I love.
But right here in Madison, the Badger Regional Training Center is helping girls get to the next level.
Most of the time they're paired with a college program, and it is somewhere where either postgraduate athletes or, you know, in the girls' case, senior level athletes who are not competing in college, because women's wrestling is not an NCAA sport yet.
Just a few months here, and these women say this is a good thing.
Them to accept the women's wrestling is really awesome because it's really going to spread women's wrestling and really get it out there, make younger girls want to start because they see that we're getting that support and that these coaches are starting RTC for women is really cool.
After coming to some of these practices, like, I was just pushed so much, and I could see myself gaining so much ground, and getting to learn from these coaches is honestly amazing.
So what's next?
Now I'm getting ready for the Junior World Championships in Estonia in August, so I've been training for that.
I want to be able to go to the Olympics one day, so I'll train to do that, and that's either 2020, 2024, that's my goal.
Jaden Laurent was a national champion at Lakeland College this year, so there's opportunities out there. Take advantage.
Those are tough girls.
Sport. All right, Gary, final check of the heat.
Well, thunderstorms up in northern Wisconsin just kind of fizzle out as they head in our direction. Nothing really imminent right now. Temperatures are warm, but not too warm. 84 right now in Madison. The humidity levels are not too bad with dew point temperatures in the lower 60s, but look to the north and west, and you can see that's where the humidity is starting to lurk. Highs upper 80s with more humidity for the weekend. Thunderstorm chance tomorrow afternoon, slight chance on Sunday, and just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm Wednesday and Thursday, and then maybe Monday of next week. Otherwise, hot and humid.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a good night, everybody. See you back here at 10.